All right. What is it that we can just discuss for a few minutes this morning? Um, Good morning to you guys. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Even if it's one person watching, we'll begin. Because one makes up a majority, right? Um, so we're not going to spend a whole half hour asking anyone to share the link. No, we don't do that here. But good morning. How are you? Um, all right, so waking up after a good day yesterday with the gold medalist, the other individuals who would have won medals for Guyana. Uh, Congratulations to them again. What else happening in your neck of the woods, other than the incompetence that we're seeing there in the sports world in Guyana? A bunch of incompetent and some, you're hearing about some corrupt individuals and all manner of things. I don't know. I just don't know. And someone brought to my attention that the athletes, while they were in the Bahamas, the Guyanese Association, whoever the AG, the what is it they call it, the CG, the Consul General, honorary Consul General there in the Bahamas. You cannot covet athletes. You got to let the athletes go. Let them mingle with other Guyanese. You can't control. They're all about control and control. They got to stop this BS, this controlling thing. Somebody mentioned, did you see how the Jamaican athletes were, or the Bajan athletes and the Trinidadians athletes and so forth? They were all over the place, and they were their fellow countrymen and women who were there, and they offered them some donation, and they give it directly to the athletes. But some of these folks in organization, they just want, we are in control, and they lock away the students, and all manner of nonsense we hear, man. They got to get away from this sort of silly mindset of doing things. But hopefully the athletes should be back in Guyana. They probably got off the plane like the regulars, no thank you, no nothing. Somebody said that some PPP network was out there. I don't know if they were referring to Newsroom, but Newsroom, we thought Newsroom was there in the Bahamas. Apparently they weren't, because nobody interviewed those folks live. Nobody spoke with these young people. Everybody's just taking pictures from the internet. Whoever, if you put up a picture, somebody gone with it, and that's how they operate. But I'm glad that those folks, the athletes, are back, and even the chaperones. We gotta give them some credit as well, assuming that they were chaperones. I don't know, but it's really, really sad that with the millions of dollars, all we're seeing is just the focus on oil money, the focus on silly roads, 1 inch, half-inch roads, giving out billions of dollars to their friends and cronies in contracts and these different things. I don't know. But the athletes, maybe because the athletes are who they are, right? We know who they are. Look who they are. Now, of all of this success story, this guy, Irfan Ali, has nothing, absolutely nothing to do about. He didn't give a rat's you know what about these people. Nothing whatsoever. But they're all going to want to jump now and enjoy the sweetness. So here it is, Irfan Ali, a competent individual, along with his sports director, Kashif Mohammed, his sports minister, whatever his name is, Ramson or whatever. Then the president of the AAA, should have been AS, you know what, Athletic Association of Guyana, Hudson, sports director, Steve Ninball. All of these people should be fired. But who's going to fire? If you yourself, Irfan Ali is incompetent, how is he going to fire other incompetent individuals? But look, he's bold though. You gotta say that he's bold to put this on his page. Congratulations to the Guyanese athletes who have performed outstandingly so far at the 50th Caribbean Games being held in the Bahamas. Which one? In Jamaica, the Jamaicans, and we gotta go back to the Jamaicans. We got to go back to them, how they treat their athletes, even the Trinidadians, even the Grenadians, even the Bajans and so forth. They have respect for their athletes. You run a country with less than 1 million people, and you're so busy from your schedule to stop for a minute, and call a couple of these athletes. Call the guy who got what? 5 gold medals for swimming. Call him one-on-one. Congratulations. Call them on the ground while they're there, so all of them can come together to see that someone from Guyana calling them notice I didn't say president, but installed, someone from Guyana cares about, I mean, in office, so to speak. They know the ordinary folks care about them. But nothing, no reaching out to these individuals, none whatsoever. And that's just to show you these guys and their priority and so forth. And they just don't give a damn about the athletes. I repeat, they don't give a damn about the athletes. But you know what, though? You know what? My friend Terry Gadraj. Terry Gadraj has an issue, and rightly so. I reached out to Terry Gadraj to let him know that I'm on his side, because Terry's a personal friend for many years. But guess who also reached out to Terry Gadraj? Irfan Ali reached out to Terry Gadraj and said to Terry, according to the news, mind you, that if you have any problem, call me. Terry Gadraj should call him if he has any problems. Terry felt good. But the time that he took, Irfan Ali took, to make contact with Terry Gadraj, why didn't he take a quick 30 seconds or a minute of his time to get in touch with these athletes? Just to say thank you for what you've done for Guyana. And just to apologize to the athletes. Somebody has got to take responsibility. And somebody has got to apologize to those athletes. I'm not sure what the situation is, if anybody's going to meet them at the airport. I honestly hope that guys like Kashif and Aubrey Hudson and Steve Ninval and Ramsden and these guys do not go to the airport to greet these athletes unless they apologize. Apologize to the athletes. You know, they've had, look how long they've had to look into this here. Let's take a look at this here. This is Aubrey Hudson. Aubrey Hudson. This was over a year ago. And you know what it says here? Kaito News, Raul Tony reporting. Guyana could have a representation of at least 20 athletes at the 2023 Carifta Games, according to the president of the Athletics Association of Guyana, Aubrey Hudson. This was over a year ago. Over a year ago. AAG hoping to send at least, same article, you see? So this is an updated one. This is December 6, 2022. So if December 2026, December 6, 2022, sorry, that you knew, that they knew how many athletes that they were sending, why the last minute something? Why? It doesn't add up. Something isn't adding up. And so hopefully these guys would do the decent thing, not necessarily decent, but at least let it appear as though you have some sort of decency in you by apologizing to the athletes, apologizing to Guyana for the treatment of these young people, these athletes who went out and represented Guyana, something that these guys can't do, something that these guys have never done. Proper representation of Guyana. All they're fighting up for is positions and positions and positions. One guy, the one in the dark shade, Steve Ninval, is in 4 different agencies. He's president of the Boxing Association. He's director of sports. He's vice president of the Guyana Olympics Association, and all manner of things, all manner of everything they want to get involved in. You can't function in one area, but you want to give yourself, become the boss and the second boss in other areas, but you can't function in one area. You want to function in all those? How do you expect to function in all those other areas? What does he know about boxing? He was just an ordinary sports writer. You don't know him to be no sportsman or nothing. A sports writer at the Stabrook News. Then he's now president of the Boxing Association. He's director of sports. He's vice president of the Guyana Olympics Association. All these things. And you could tell that they have a war that is going on there right now, because Steve Ninval and them wanted to be the president of the Guyana Olympics Association and all these things. And they wanted to control the Athletics Association of Guyana as well. Everything for these guys is control and control and control. But Hudson now is a disappointment. Not only should we be going after Hudson and call for his resignation, Kashif Shanghai should be asked to resign, but Jack Day, they wouldn't do that. But they're going to put all the blame and go after Hudson. Now, Hudson is to be blamed, don't get me wrong, but he's not the only one who is to be blamed. Steve Ninval, they're going to want to go after him and chop his head off. Kashif is going to want to go after Hudson and chop his head off. Ramson is going to want, and just watch what they're going to do. They want to make Aubrey Hudson the fall guy in all of this. At the end of the day, all of them have failed the young people or athletes. All of these guys have failed the athletes. Every single one of them. I'm looking at some and reading some of your comments. Let me see what Sean Alfred is saying here. Hey, Sean. Sean Alfred is saying the organization need to be changed. Find people who truly care about the athletes to put there. I agree with you, Sean. And you are expressing the sentiment of all right-thinking Guyanese. Something needs to happen. On top of that, these people, they give $2 million. $2 million, Sean, and others. I notice Raul is on, and good morning to you, Raul. Francine, good morning to the folks at Long Island Nursing Home. I got to pay you guys a visit at the nursing home. But thank you so much. Give my regards to Dorita and Francine is the one that's always watching. Good morning to you, Francine. Francine is 79, I think. Francine told me that she is 79 years old. Good morning, Brenda, Claudette Allen, and all the folks. Claudette Allen from New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam get 1 and 2 soup drinkers, I heard, but we'll talk about that some other time soon. Early in the morning, look at this one. Ganga Prasad, Ganda Egg is saying treason again will be very different. You see how these evil-minded individuals are. Treason again. Look who should have been charged with treason. You Banga. Not Ganga, Banga. Jack Dave should have been charged with treason. Irfan Ali should have been charged with treason, right? So this Banga, they have nothing good to offer. Absolutely. He's probably drunk already. Drunk. Pee up himself, all kind of thing. And probably have Rupert probably right next to him there too as well. And that's how they behave. Look, early in the morning. And some of you might be saying, why do I even pay them attention? Sometimes I like to ignore them, and there are times I like to expose them. Look at Banga. Drunk early in the morning. Drunk, lie down next to Rupert with a big bottle of bush rum, right? Early in the morning. Banga, Ganga getting Banga. Well, anyways, silly bunch of people. Very, very silly bunch of people. All right, so what else can we talk about? It's Tuesday morning, right? Tuesday morning. Let's ignore the Banga Marys them. The Banga Marys them will always come out looking for some sort of attention and attempting to say something. Ain't know what they're saying, but they want to say something and don't know how to say it. Now back to these 3 Banga Marys, since we're on the topic of fish. Sorry about that. Back to these Bangameris. Let me see what Roberto is saying here. Roberto, buenos dias, right? Roberto Gonzalez is saying, moderator, what's stopping the associations attached to the AAG? What's stopping the associations attached to the AAG? Yep, from asking the AGG present official to resign? A good question. Good question. Yep, good question. Nobody wants to ask anybody to resign, but they are going to go after Aubrey Hudson. And here's why they're going to go after Aubrey Hudson. It's politics. Though, so they want to make Aubrey Hudson now the boogeyman, even though Aubrey Hudson is at fault. Aubrey Hudson is to be blamed, but they have something that is called contributory negligence. All of them have contributed to this failure and this letdown. And I say failure, not on the part of our athletes. We know the athletes a big success story, a huge success story. A huge success story. Nothing, unless I've missed it, I hope to see an official, not a Facebook message, but an official message from the opposition on this. Official message congratulating our athletes and so forth, and from an official capacity, mind you. We don't need to hear this from Irfan Ali. Congratulations to Guyanese athletes who have performed outstandingly so far. Outstandingly performed great. We shouldn't be. These guys have no shame, none whatsoever. What's bothering you guys other than Banga Mary? That's a new name for that. Oh, look, Banga Mary just torn up there. Oh, where is Banga Mary? They come and they push up the head and they're gone, they disappear because they have nothing good to offer. Absolutely nothing. Eat out some of them brain. Brennan Thompson, good morning. And Brennan is saying here, congratulations to the athletes of Guyana. Yeah, they appreciate that. Let's see what Brenda is saying. Good morning, Brenda Casey. Failure and incompetence of this installed administration is reflected daily in every aspect of governance in Guyana. So true, Brenda. So true. Incompetence, corruption, nepotism, racism, you name it, in Guyana. Charlene makes sense. Charlene makes sense. Let me see here what Ravindra. Hey, Ravindra. And Ravindra is making some good points here. I don't want to, treat Ravindra as how that Banga Mary guy came. So here's what. Good morning, Ravindra. Ravindra is asking a question here. Isn't the AAG, which is the Athletics Association of Guyana, independent? If you're at fault, then you should be responsible. Fair enough, true. But the Guyana Olympics Association, he is the president. Why can't he congratulate the athletes? Oh, okay, I got what you're saying here, Ravindra. Ravindra is asking, why can't Irfan Ali, in my opinion, he's the installed president. Nobody's saying that he cannot congratulate the athletes. But under the circumstances, it appears that they ignore these athletes from day one. You can't tell me that the director of sports doesn't know what is going on. Steve Ninval, who is an appointee of Irfan Ali. You can't tell me that the minister of sports doesn't know what's going on. And because the AAG is supposed to be an independent body, that the Ministry of Sports cannot oversee the operations of the AAG. No, 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 no. The AAG has to give a report to the Ministry of Sports. It happens. And the director of sports have to be in communication with the president of the AAG. And that's how it happens. So it's not like the AAG is operating independent of all other. No, the AAG is answerable to the Ministry of Sports. They don't have to dictate to everything, but the AAG is not as independent as you would think. And knowing how the situation with these athletes, all I'm saying, Ravindra, is it's hypocritical. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Irfan Ali, as in my opinion, the installed president, he has no right to congratulate. Of course, anybody can congratulate. The president of the Guyana Human Rights Association can congratulate them. The opposition leader, Aubrey Norton, can congratulate them. Irfan Ali can congratulate them. But my point is the hypocrisy that we're seeing, that you've ignored the plight of these young people, these athletes, and only when they put Guyana on the map, which these athletes have done, then everybody's going to want to come and score big to make it appear that they're doing and saying something. That's my point, Ravindra. That's all I'm saying. And if you disagree with me, I don't know. You can tell me that you disagree with me. But not only Hudson, all of them are responsible, including the Minister of Sports, including the Director of Sports, and including Kashif, who God in heaven knows what he is really, other than the fact we know that he got $350 million through an organization of which he's part of to rebuild some school in Linden. $350 million to rebuild a school, right, Ravindra? And to this day, we don't know what has happened with the money. The school is not even close to being completed. Look, that's the school, Ravindra. $350 million. You know what that $350 million would have been able to do? Yep, $350 million, almost 2 years now. Look where they are. Look what has happened, Ravindra. Let's be reasonable, man. But thank you for your comment, though. Appreciate it. What else we can talk about? Yeah, got to agree with Ravindra here again. Multiple layers of fault, of course. Multiple layers. Let us hope that it doesn't happen again. It's been happening too often. Way too often. All right. So Ravindra is saying here, and I'm focusing on Ravindra, giving him a little time of the day, with all due respect. Private chartered jet. Oh, after the fact, right? After the fact. This is how we're going to spend our money. We must put up our hands and say, yes, a private chartered jet. After the embarrassment was out there. All these things were out there. They weren't concerned about ensuring that these athletes, everything was going hunky-dory, and the fact that these athletes are off to represent our country. And even with these athletes going to represent Guyana, why not? We never saw a nice meeting and proper send-off with these athletes. We wish them all the best, and we ensure then that there are their tickets in place, because if I'm the director of sports, mind you, if I am the director of sports, and I know that they have such a big game coming up like Carifta, 50th anniversary of the Carifta Games in the Bahamas, as even president, install or otherwise, I'm going to ask questions. How is our athletes doing? Or the minister of sports would have been able to say we have 15 or we have 20 athletes going to represent us. Sir, do you have some time to meet with them and wish them all the best? Or even the director of sports will find out how things are coming along with our athletes. Don't wait last minute, 2 days, 1 day before, then you rush to get visa, and then you rush to get airline tickets, and then you book a one-way for them. And then when the embarrassment is out there, and air finale, they're feeling the squeeze, then they rush to say, we have a private jet. Let's now go and hire a private jet to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars now, or maybe 150, 200, who knows how much for the private jet, right? To show that you're doing something now when you should have done something before, to make our athletes comfortable. Let them go there feeling motivated, energized. Let them do that. But no, according to Ravindra, and here is where Ravindra is slipping, that we must jump up on the mountaintop and congratulate the installed regime. Look, they sent a private jet, and we must clap. Matter done, story done. No, Ravindra, that is not the issue. But while they find the money to send a private jet for these athletes, they were giving the athletes, according to the mother of one of the athletes, $10 per day stipend. $10 per day. I bet, Ravindra, you probably wouldn't want to. You should say, oh, let the parents cook 2 roti, or make 2 roti, or make 2 bake, and give them let it carry, right? And we must treat our athletes better. They're not going there to represent one ethnic group. Neither are they going there to represent a single political party. They're going there to represent the country. They're going there to represent all of us. When they run for us. When they jump for us. When they swim for us. When they win for us. All of us. All Guyanese, irrespective of their race, their ethnicity, their political affiliation, their religion, it doesn't matter. They win for us. When Shivnarine Chandrapal scores a century as a representative of the West Indies cricket team, he makes all of us as Guyanese proud. All West Indians, yeah, but Guyanese, we feel proud that Shivnarine Chandrapal hit a century, hit a double century. We embrace him, we respect him. Basketball players, and all these other folks, we respect them because they represent our country. Our boxers, when Sixhead Lewis won that championship, that world championship, all of us he represented. All of us. And this should be no different for our athletes, our track and field athletes. It should be no different. They shouldn't be given $10 per day. What $10 could buy? $10 per day in an oil-rich country? But the ministers are allowed to leave Guyana with $5,000. $5,000 per day. And not per day, $5,000 per trip outside of Guyana. And Air Finale and Jack Vio and Mark Phillips, they get $10,000. I would prefer to see our young people get that money as opposed to these politicians who are already getting a salary at the end of the month. But every time they travel, and this is nothing new, mind you, every time they travel, it's 10,000 US, of course, US. Somebody's asking if it's US, it can be 10,000 Guyana dollars. Air Finale eats out in half hour 10,000 Guyana dollars in fry fish. Let's see what Conrad is saying here. Conrad August, blame the people for allowing this. I got to smile at Conrad August. Conrad August is saying blame the people. Well, you have a point there too, because it's only so much that people could sit down and tolerate, mind you. Sit down and tolerate. And if the people are sitting down and tolerating this nonsense, But I just got to give the mother of that gold medalist, Noel, I got to give her kudos for speaking out. Not too many people speak out, Conrad, and you know this too, Conrad. Um, you know this also, Conrad, because I remember the days when you were visiting Guyana, and I used to plead with you to come and join us in the protest. Yeah, you weren't coming to join us in the protest. I recall one day when you dropped a parcel over by your cousin who used to drive for you know who. And I said, come on, join the protest. Let your voice be heard, Conrad. No, 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 you're not about that. You don't want to come out. You don't want to join us. You don't want to be seen. Right, Conrad? And Conrad is a nice guy. He's a friend of mine. And I don't like to use that word loosely. Um, you see your Conrad getting upset now. Getting upset now. Shake my head. You see. See you? You see, he's getting upset now. Same Conrad when I say, bye, come and join me in a protest in Guyana now. Pick up a placard. Now, he want pick up no placard. He want do nothing. Pick up the phone call, Conrad. Conrad, where you at? Conrad over at the PPPC hotel. Some hotel on breakdown, whatever you call a hotel, drinking Hennessy. Hennessy. Conrad has never joined us in the struggle, has never joined us at a protest. Anyways, Conrad doesn't want me to say anything else, but Conrad is here saying that the people don't speak out. And I agree with you, Conrad. Most of the people don't speak out. Look, he's skinning his teeth because he knows it's the truth. But he comes on social media. And saying that people don't speak out and people must speak out. Conrad had an opportunity, but Henny, what they call it? Henny was more important at sleep in, right? His friends, them over there, so he couldn't be seen with Ben Sharp. He couldn't be seen, but he's still a friend, though. I like Conrad. He's okay. Recall once Conrad visited me home. Conrad had to cover up his head with a bag, all kind of thing, but yeah, some kind of friends I have, right? Good morning again for those of you who are now joining. We haven't heard back. We haven't heard back about this situation, and it's pretty obvious that the regime doesn't want to deal with it. They're attempting to ignore it. They are attempting to ignore it because of what? Because as we've been told by Roysdale Ford, Member of Parliament and Senior Counsel, that Anil and the PPP, they're playing the race card that they do not want to confirm these two in their position as substantive chancellor and chief justice. They just don't want to do that as a result of these folks' ethnicity. As a result of their ethnicity. And I do believe that Roysdale Ford, who happens to be the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, is on to something. What else we can talk about? Could possibly talk about the slave catching business. Bharat Jagdeo, they're boasting and bragging. And this is what they say. The People's Progressive Party General Secretary, Bharat Jagdeo, again, I don't know why they address him as doctor. He's not a doctor. He's not the holder of a PhD. The doctor he got is an honorary doctorate. Honorary doctorate. And once you are the holder of an honorary doctorate, you cannot address yourself as doctor because he's not a doctor. I also am the holder of 2 honorary doctorates. And, I oftentimes don't boast and brag about those sort of things. Don't boast and brag about those sort of things. I am the holder of 2 honorary doctorates, one from Camp Street and the other one from Brickdam. But yet you guys don't see me addressing myself as Dr. Ben Shap, right? All right, it's 13 minutes after 10 o'clock. I notice a Trenchy just jump out. Trenchy just jump out. Trenchy just jump out. Look at this. Honey. You could tell this is Lick Lip Kwame, right? Honey Singh. You know, there's no Honey Singh. Look how Honey Singh writing now. You are, period. In, period. The US, they, period. USA, period. Flying, period. Your mouth, your, period. Mouth, period. Go, period. To, and form a political party. Go and form a political party and fight these wicked people, according to you. I'll fight these wicked people anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Guyana. And maybe you should put a photograph up and come with me, honey. Sorry, it could be Kwame that I'm addressing as honey, right? Look, it's early in the morning. It's early in the morning, right? Thank you, Desiree. I'm not going to put like some people calling themselves doctor and all these things, you know. Of course, I was being facetious. Cam Street is the prison, and of course, Brickdam, meaning the Brickdam police station, which I was a forced client there, forced because of political persecution. So I might as well get an honorary doctorate from Brickdam lockups, honorary doctorate from Cam Street prison. So if Jack Dale, who doesn't deserve to be called doctor, if he got one or two honorary doctorates that they paid for, then why not? Call everybody doctor. Dr. Janet Simple, good morning. Dr. Alicia Durant, Dr. Janet Elias, Dr. Roshana Harewood Walker, Dr. Brenda Casey. Call everybody doctor. Everybody doctor. I notice Gavin Matthews calling himself Dr. Breyer. And then they get Dr. Rick Portborg, they get Dr. What's the guy that's ringing the bell? Duncan, Dr. Duncan, Dr. Annette Ferguson, Dr. Everybody Man, Dr. Small Man, right? Dr. Otto Martin. And all these, everybody's a doctor in Guyana. The only body who's probably not a doctor is David Hines, right? David Hines didn't earn his doctorate, right? And that's how they believe. You know, of course, Dr. Hines earned his doctorate. He's a holder of a PhD from Howard University. And so rightfully, he deserves to be called doctor. He deserves to be addressed as doctor. And for anybody else on this program who earned their PhD the right way, not by no cheating and put somebody else to write for them, you know. So, doctor, my head. Here is where we'll bow this one out, honey, because honey making sense. Here, honey saying here now. And we know honey is a man locked away in an office at the office of the president. Honey Singh is a man. Trust me. Honey probably locked away with a big bottle of rum to another rum drinker. Here, honey, here now. We give honey a little minute more. Nothing is wrong with honey. We expose her or him or whatever. How can you confirm? How can you confirmation? Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to laugh. It's early in the morning, right? We get it in this bunks up kind of mood, right? Here, honey saying, how can confirmation of chancellor when you when you embarrass the entire judiciary to say 33 is not greater than 32? What sense is this Mimakara I'm trying to say this early Tuesday morning, man? I ain't even eat my banga Mary curry yet. What kind of thing? You know, I want to leave Honey because I know Honey's going to come back with something dotish again. And we got to get a couple of laughs this morning, right? We just have to get that. But, we want to show our appreciation, of course, for Honey. Honey is entitled to offer her views. It's okay. And because of that, Honey is really brave. I want to personally say to you guys that I appreciate Honey so much so that I want to give Honey the award this morning. Honey deserves the award. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? That Honey deserves the award? Honey got to get the award. We got to give Honey the medal. Sorry. We'll give Honey the medal. Honey, we appreciate your comment. Come on up and get your award for the day. This award goes to Honey. You know, honey, somebody's saying that Honey should get a double dose because when you drink Senapad, you can't drink 1 spoon, you gotta drink two. You give him another dose. Here you go, Honey. Okay, Honey, that's it. Makes me want to sing now for Honey. Oh, Honey, I am but a fool. Darling, I love you. Well, it could be Kwame and all, right? All right, it's the morning. So, what is it? We just lively things up as we move along. What else can we talk about this morning? Um, what else can we talk about this morning? Um, yep. Usually kids are home from school, right? Emma? Yep. The kids are home from school and, there will be interruption. Yep. There will be interruption. Come on in. You know, you guys who are parents, you could understand that. But what else can we talk about this morning? Look at what's happening in the country. Almost every day, some beating, some stabbing, all manner of things. All manner of things. Some beating, some stabbing, all manner of things. You do? All manner of things. All manner of things. You say hi, say good morning. Okay. Good. All right. All right, go and ask Ryan. Ryan, give her. Jonathan, give her the egg. Yeah. 1 second. Welcome back, guys. War break there, right? Kids are home from school. War break. Somebody go with somebody candy. All right, so we're having a morning kind of show, kind of relaxing show. You see, that's her artwork up there. She wants everybody to see her artwork. Great job too. We got to be able to encourage our kids. Encourage our kids to. Siblings are going to row with each other over some candy and them kind of things. The politicians do that. In Parliament, they row over all sort of things. They row over. But kids are blessings, mind you, right? Parents out there, stick with your kids. Stick with your kids. Fathers, stick with your kids. So back to this here. Fisherman 26 beaten and stabbed to death at Anna Katrina. Munaf Azim, condolences to the family. Fisherman beaten and stabbed every single day. There's something in that country. Every single day. Every single day. This is what's going on in Guyana. Every day. I don't know what's happening in that country for these things to happen every single day. It's just not right. It's just not right. I don't know, man. I just don't know. But condolences to this young man's family. There's something that I wanted to discuss last evening. I didn't get a chance to do so. But before we get to that, look at this hypocrite. Hypocrite, part of the small party. Part of the small party. Look, new MP. Here what's going on. New MP ready to lobby for constitutional reform and transparency. You sit out there as part of the regime. They give you a little job. You ain't talking about transparency. You've been quiet. You've been enjoying whatever you've been enjoying. You're enjoying whatever you're enjoying, having fun. And now you get a chance to go in Parliament and sit down. I hope you wipe that seat. Because remember, Schumann sit on it and he naked, butt naked. You got to wipe, you got to sponge, but who cares? Just go and sit down on it. Sit down on it. Because the entire Parliament in that section is contaminated. Contaminated. So, as Melanie Henry's saying, you resurrect. Where you resurrect from? All the time you ain't know nothing more transparency. You ain't know nothing more constitution reform. But you get a chance to sit down on that filthy seat. God in heaven knows what's on that seat that Schumann sat on. You're sitting there now, and you want to fool the people of Guyana, but you're going in there and you're ready for constitution. You're a small fry. You are a small fry. You could talk constitutional reform and transparency. You haven't been talking about transparency for the 3 years that you guys have been installed. But now you think people are paku. That's your problem. You think people are paku. But you're going in there to talk about constitutional reform. Jerry Jagan spoke about constitutional reform when he was running in 1992. He became president on October 5th, 1992. He was talking about constitutional reform, get rid of the executive president and all manner of things, and to get rid of the Bornum dictatorial constitution. If you're here, Chetty, and Chetty was 1 million times more powerful than you. And he couldn't get to any constitutional reform, none whatsoever. A little small fries like you, a small fries like you, going into Parliament to take up the seat occupied by a smaller, and I really do mean smaller, fry, Schumann, who is out. That PPP liquor is out. And he's going to go and join the PPP. And you take over his bench, and now his seat. And now you want to tell people about, you're already constitutional reform and transparent. Give me a break. Give me a break. You want to start with transparency? Go in front Ramson Senior's house and ask him to be transparent. He is the Commissioner of Information. Ramsden Jr.'s father is the Commissioner of Information, of which he receives over $1 million per month, his salary alone. He got a security guard, he got free driver, probably a vehicle, all these things that he got, plus $1+ million per month, sitting there and not doing his constitutional duty. So you want to talk about transparency? Go in there and ask them to be transparent. You want to talk about transparency? Asha, you want to talk about transparency? Go in there and ask Mansour Nadir, the Speaker of the National Assembly. Ask him to be transparent. Charity begins at home. Is your party, or whatever you do, you still have a party? Are you guys transparent? Have you guys been fighting for anything? Have you guys been championing any cause? But suddenly you get a chance to warm up the filthy, contaminated seat held by Schumann, and you want to make people a paku, as we say in Guyana. But you're going to go there to lobby for constitutional reform and transparency. What kind of transparency? Huh? What kind of transparency? Now look, give me a break. Give me a break. Just go and sit down in your seat, collect your little $300,000 a month, and vote with the PPP all the time, because there's nothing else you can do. You can't vote any other way. You wouldn't vote any other way because you've gotten a nice, comfortable job there. The PPP just making sure all of y'all are right. Y'all claim to have fought for democracy. Claim to have fought for democracy. I notice Francine here is saying, and you got to give Francine some flowers. Francine is always saying some right things, that you want to talk about transparency? All right, let me begin here. Thank you, Francine. You want to talk about transparency? Talk about this.
Source. Okay, well, maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujiro?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours.
You want to talk about transparency, Asha? Talk about that transparency, and then we can get somewhere. Don't come with this sort of Jim Cock, bring Ramgoat story about you going to fight for constitution reform. All of them talking when they want to sound nice and they want to make it look as though they're about democracy. They always put in constitutional reform. Constitutional reform. That's all in their mouth. Constitutional reform. People want them to be empowered. People want jobs. People want all these things. This Jim Cock, bring Ramgoat lies about transparency and constitutional reform. You're not talking about jobs to the young people in the quarantine, jobs to the young people in Region 10, to find out what's going on in Kokwani and these. You're into people going to eat constitutional reform, the lies. What are you going to do? You're going to wrap up constitutional reform in a roti? Sorry, I say roti. You could also do that in a bake, right? Or a buns, or a coconut with a little sugar. And you're going to put transparency inside the coconut with a dry coconut with a little sugar and give it to people? Tell people nonsense, but transparency. Charity begins at home, Asha. Charity begins at home. Oh, what up my head early morning, but transparency and constitutional reform. There's a big word for some of y'all right now. Constitutional reform. Sounds like constipation reform. Constitution. Always trying to make the ordinary people mucks. And get her out of get her out. No. So these three Mickey Mouse. All right. So this here that we're getting from who sent it. It shows Irfan Ali and young people. Irfan Ali and young people. Where is it? Aranupa Valley, North Rupununi. So he's there in North Rupununi with young people marching, shaking young people's hands, and don't give a damn about young people. Don't give a damn about their future. Oh, speaking of Irfan Ali, you heard the other day some guy, some presidential guard was under close arrest because some ring belonging to his wife went missing. A ring, probably a big fat nugget gold ring or diamond ring, maybe a gift from God in heaven knows, from one of the probably from one of those individuals who have some question marks behind their names as gold dealers in Guyana. Who knows? I'm not saying that's the case, but who knows? We haven't heard back anything about the ring story. And I feel a bit disappointed. Because after the Peter Bison Paul story, and we knew that this ring story was supposedly a lie, we haven't heard back anything about that. So I noticed Savannah Page is saying, talk about the installed PPP regime. So who have we been talking about all the time? Have we been talking about the Dalai Lama? Have we been talking about the people in Israel or Palestine or Germany? What have we been talking about all the time? Savannah Page, whose page were you on all the time when we were talking from beginning up until this point about the installed PPP regime? But Savannah jumps out now and says, talk about the installed PPP. Oh, Father. Yeah. Kurt Caesar, good morning. Long time no see. Hope your family, you guys are okay. Kurt and I can't believe we've been friends. So if I tell people how long we've been friends for, they're going to know my age, right? We've been friends for like 40 years, man. Just imagine we so old now that we could afford to say 40 years. 40 years. Manchester, Lancaster, Liverpool, Alness, Alverston. Good guy, Kurt Caesar. Hope you and your family are okay. Please do give them my regards. What else we can talk about? I want to touch on this here. This is sickening. We all have kids, and we all don't have to have kids. We all don't have to have kids to condemn this. We all don't have to have kids to say that this is sickening. Sickening. Dalai Lama apologizes for basically asking a young boy to suck his tongue. Suck his tongue. This is sad, man. This is sad. How could you do this? And then they offer an apology saying that it was a joke. Who in their right mind would do something like this? Huh? Who in their right mind, come on guys, who in their right mind would do something like this to ask a little boy, come here, suck my tongue? This is sickening. This is why we have to protect our children. We just have to protect. We cannot take chances with our children. When we were little kids, times were different. We run around all over in the village. And for the most part, the village, this is not to say they didn't have one or two rascals in the village or the villages, but the villages protected us when we were little kids. In the village, that is. because there's some sad stories that we've heard also later on. But the village, for the most part, protected us. Who is protecting our little ones? That is why we have to spend that extra time. We got to be careful with whose hands do we put them in? Who do we leave them with? We've got to be on our guards all the time. All the time. That's another discussion for a long period of time, because they got some very filthy family members as well. I know some of you probably would have experienced that. Incest and all manner of things. And, it is so sad what the world has become. It is so sad. But when I saw this here, I first thought it was, it's got to be some sort of rumor or somebody's trying to say something, but not realizing that on his page, he actually apologized to say that this was a joke. This is a joke. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this here? This could never. Look, I have kids. I don't even do this to my daughter. And as a man, hugging your daughter, or especially in my case, my kids, my daughter, you got to be very careful too. A hug and a kiss and these sort of things. And we've got to be careful and mindful of certain things. You can't stretch your tongue out like this at a little child. I wouldn't even do this to my kids. Probably a little baby, when they're like a little baby, you play around a little bit and you say, nana, choo-choo baby, daddy like you, baba, abi baby, this abi chunku bobo, abi daddy. But when they're no longer a baby, that's it. They're getting bigger. You got to change your position. You just got to change it. You got to. I wish when I was a little baby, people used to say, no, nobody just left me there and throw a bottle. I had to crawl and just collect my bottle and just suck my bottle, and that's it. Of course, pet shop eat murder. But this is sickening. And, he should be charged wherever he is. If I had my way, I'd probably charge him, but I don't have my way, right? This is a sexual offense. This is a sexual offense. Look at this. And then had the audacity to tell the little child, the little boy, whether it's a little boy or a girl, a little boy, why he couldn't just, if he wanted to do these sort of things, why he couldn't just call up Kwame or somebody, or call Jack Deere or one of them. They're grown-ups. They probably, mind you, wouldn't mind. But a little boy? Shame, man. Damn it. Disgusting. There it is. Dalai Lama apologizes after video shows him kissing child and asking him to suck his tongue. Gosh. An apology is not all. I'm sure they would have to compensate that family. They'll have to, the little boy would have to undergo some sort of counseling and all these manner of things, because, gosh, sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Sickening. Men who do these sort of things, molest little boys and little girls. I don't know what should happen. They probably, once the evidence is there, they probably shouldn't even have any trial, if you ask me. But I believe in the rights of people, and Once the evidence is there, let them go through the court system and let the court punish them. You won't find me defending or any human rights individuals for these people, because for me it's so sickening. And in Guyana, we've got to be very careful too. Let me show you. You see this here. They got some wicked big men in Guyana too, you know, and some wicked big women also, who are doing these things to little kids, little boys and little girls. I have dealt with numerous cases like this in Guyana that the police refuse to handle most of them, because once the person has little money, they can pay the mother, they can pay the family, and the matter done. They can grease the palms of the police and the matter done. So there's really no justice at all. And then their family now, who prefer that the matter be settled because they may want it get out there. I dealt with a matter with a little girl somewhere up the East Bank, and the family settled the matter. I kept running to the police station, making sure then that there's justice, and the family settled the matter. And it's done with. It's done. It's happening to a lot of little boys as well. I dealt with a story of a little boy, just about either 12 or 13, was forced into prostitution, forced to go out at the cathedral and sell his body. 12 or 13 years old. I've interviewed, I believe I still have that interview, with a little boy crying. Obviously, it is what it is. He went out there and he started prostituting. I don't know, he's got to be in his 20s now. I don't know what he's up to. Probably if I see him, I probably wouldn't recognize him. But it was a sad story, as he explained. Even a close family member was able to do that. A close family member. I apologize. I had that picture up there while I was talking. So my apologies for having it up so long. But it's sickening. And then there's the Kwame and Julius tape, where I witnessed, in terms of a conversation with an underage boy, dialed the number of Kwame McCoy at the office of the president, spoke with Kwame McCoy. Kwame McCoy was crying over the little boy. And nobody wanted to deal with it. Priya Manikchan didn't want to deal with it. These are the people who are saying that they are concerned about little kids. They didn't want to deal with it. The US and other places revoked. The US revoked Kwame McCoy's visa. Revoked it. Well, he can travel now because I'm told he has a diplomatic passport. So they travel for now. Doesn't mean that his visa can get revoked again, but they travel. They travel. Remember when Ramson got into office, they got installed. Ramson took a photograph of his biometric page or some page of his passport showing that he just got a 10-year visa, multiple or whatever, 10 years. And he, as a minister, if you want to say he's a minister, as a minister going on social media to show off. Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, show off because they got some people over in Guyana can't even travel. They get all the money in the world, as they claim, but they can't jump on a plane to come outside Guyana. If they do that, they will be arrested and they will be charged for a variety of charges, from money laundering, gold smuggling, assassination, you name it. They can't travel, so they got to go in the bush, fly and go in the bush to the rodeo, fly and come out back, fly and go back in the bush, and fly and come out back. That's all they can do. Let them fly and come outside, and let's see who gets seen more than Biden. Somebody mentioned something with James Bond. Sharing out kite. I don't follow James Bond. Sorry about that, guys. I haven't seen James Bond out of the country in a while, too. I don't know if he still travels, but if he still travels, whenever he comes up this way, if I'm not in Guyana, whenever he comes up this way, if he still travels, I'd love to sit with James and have a cup of coffee, because coffee means that it's not going to be too long of a meeting. I don't know if he still travels. Sorry, I don't know. I just mentioned that because somebody mentioned James Bond about something. James will be James, though, right? What's happening with all of the soup drinkers? People are talking about the soup drinkers. A couple of those so-called PNC stalwarts. They're not stalwarts. They're hustlers, flatfoot hustlers. But let's get back to something Jack Dave said. Wow, time flies, right? I've been on for 1 hour, 16 minutes. This is what Jack Dave says. They are candidates and supporters from New Amsterdam. So they met with these people from New Amsterdam and so forth. And watch out for one or two of the names. Some of them crying and hollering, but them in drinking soup. They gone to, like, what's her name, Barbara? Gone to Babu Jan, gone here facilitating the PPP for meetings and so forth. Come on, give me a break, man. What more you could see? What more do you want to see? But the next move the PPP is going to make is they are going to head up to Linden, and they're going to, right now they're organizing to pay people to go out and get a big crowd in Linden for them. They are creating their slate. They're preparing their slate for Linden. So when they prepare the slate, right? When they're preparing the slate, they want to make this announcement, which they will make it very soon. They're going to get some young faces and plaster them, and then they're going to say, no, the people of Linden and Region 10 love them. That's what they're going to say. So the other day they said they're waiting to finish off one other region, and then they will, according to Jack Deere, make their announcement. They're waiting on Linden. They're getting a couple more folks, and they're going to make this big announcement about Linden, about New Amsterdam. Just watch some of the faces. Just watch some of the faces. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what the folks out in Region 10, Linden and so forth, they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they have the coalition that is. I don't know if they have a plan to conquer these people. On the ground, we're hearing some of them saying that they're walking or working, and all the people don't work quietly. I mean, this is a different time. These Pakus in office get billions of dollars, and they will use their monies by any means necessary. And walking and whispering on the ground is not sufficient to counter the PPP. It is not sufficient. And had it not been the few of us who constantly on social media, who constantly have these sort of programs to bang away at the PPP, to keep the PPP at bay. It's not so much what people claim they have been whispering in communities, because obviously the whispering in communities hasn't been working. So whatever you guys are whispering, you got to come out from this whisper mode and start being more proactive, standing up for your community. As we head back to Linden now, not too many people went out there and stood up to confront the PPPC concerning cricket pitch and all that nonsense. We only saw, who is it that we saw? London, Apostle London, and then we saw Cleveland Thomas, the former headmaster, who celebrated his birth anniversary a couple of days ago. And I wished him a happy birthday privately. I want to wish him publicly a happy birthday, belatedly, of course. Come out from the whispering corners. It doesn't win you in politics. Come out and be bold. When was the last time we've heard those folks out in Linden confront the PPP in anything? They don't. They want to play soft boy, or they want to play the politics safe, pretending as though they're a Mahatma Gandhi or they're a Mandela, or they're just basically peacemakers. Peacemakers don't win politics.
If you're a peacemaker, join a church, do something. Peacemakers are not the best politicians. Peacemakers get nowhere because they want to be one side and they want to be this side. That's all. They want to be on all. They want to be on the fence. That's what peacemakers do. They want to be on the fence. Come out, stop the whispering. Stop the come in and say, "Oh, we have been working, quietly, and not everything we do we got to." No, that doesn't work. That is a 3-card trick. That when you don't do nothing and people confront them, the MPs and them, that they're not doing nothing, they say they're doing things quietly. Meanwhile, some of them, all they're thinking about is they want to be leader of the PNC, they want to be chairman and whatever. All these things they want to be. But nobody wants to be a soldier on the ground. Nobody wants to start off as a soldier. You just want to jump right in and become a leader. You want to become chief of staff of the army just like that. You think those chief of staff just one day get up and then they're just promoted to chief of staff? They went through the ranks. They went through the training. You think Barack Obama became president just like that? And it was just a luck. Some fairy godmother just went over to him and suddenly he became? No, he did a lot of work. He walked the streets of Chicago. He worked the streets. He mingled with the people on the ground. He didn't swell up his mouth at the people and believe that he is better than the people. And then when you walk, you believe that you don't even want to shake the people's hands. That is not a good and effective politician. And I don't want any politician to come and tell me they want to be a leader when they scorn the very people they want to lead. Who the cap fit wear it, man? Who the cap fit wear? You don't scorn your people. You don't believe that you're better than your people then. The same people that you want to vote for you. The same people that you want to make you a leader. Coincidentally, it's the people who make you a leader. It's the people who recognize you as a leader. And this goes across the board for politicians, not just for those MPs in the coalition. Then they have some of them sit down. When you ask them that you don't see them, they're not working for the people. They say that they're just observing or they're working behind it. No, people don't want observers. A lot of these MPs collect over $300,000 a month and all these different things, and they don't go out and work for the people. Local government elections is around the corner. Are we seeing any campaign other than a couple of people sharing out little kites? Are we seeing any campaigns other than walking around shaking one and two hands? Which is good, mind you, the shaking of hands. It's okay. But are we really seeing anything other than that? The opposition cannot intend to play foul pen politics whilst the PPP is playing hard, stable politics. It just cannot work. The opposition got to get their act together. Speaking of horse racing politics, there was an accident at the Port Morant racetrack. Guys like Chris Jagdeo, guys like these other guys who suddenly became rich. They have horses now. They're importing horses and they like the Jumbo Jet and these guys. I smile because it seems as though some people, not necessarily those people, some people are doing, money laundering by bringing in these expensive horses from Saudi Arabia and other places, and they're racing these horses. But over the weekend at Port Morant track, a stone throw away from Babujan, at Port Morant track, either 2 or 3 horses died. The track was very, very bad. Horses died. Jockeys badly injured. Spectators injured. And you're telling me no investigation to find out what really happened? No one is going to be held accountable for the track or to investigate why this happened? And it seems to be now a frequent occurrence. No investigation because what? Because Jagdeo and Irfan are part of this whole, allegedly, part of this whole horse racing business now. I'm told that Irfan Ali, even into the horse racing, that he probably owns some horses too from Saudi Arabia. I don't know how accurate that is. But we need an investigation as to what happened at Port Morant Racetrack over the weekend. Those jockeys who were injured, I hope that they're on the road to recovery. And those horses that died, brutal death at the Port Morant Racetrack. I don't know, man. Yet no investigations, right? I bet if it had happened at Alnis Racetrack, the only black-owned racetrack, Alnis Racetrack, owned by, the name of the racetrack is Ryan Crawford Memorial Racetrack. Ryan Crawford is the grandfather of J.R. Crawford. He was the grandfather of J.R. Crawford and Ryan Crawford. Ryan, aka F, so that's how Ryan got his name, from his paternal grandfather, whose name was Ryan. So I think joking is not joking. Joe King has a point. Joe King is saying here, Joe King, Emma, I was showing the people your artwork and they love it. Come give me a high five. They love your work, right? Come give that a high five. Come. Good job. They just look, it's there. Look, you see, it's you want to see this TV, and look, they're seeing everything and they're proud of you, right? Give that a hug.
Dad, the swallowing video.
Give me a quick second. I'm wrapping up now, right? Or actually,
The swallowing video.
all right. Just give me a quick second. Let me
Swallowing video.
swollen video.
Swallowing video.
Swap.
Swallowing video.
Swollen video.
No,
Okay.
that's a swallowing video.
You're on TV. All right. Let me wrap up for you then. And so, sorry about that, guys. My boss is here, and
That's a swallowing video.
drawing video. I got you. 1 second, guys. Y'all know this is not my time, really. Drawing videos. Here you go, Emma. Close the door for me. Give me another hug. Come. Give Daddy another hug. Love you, right? What part of Guyana are you from?
London.
What part?
London.
Emma is from Linden. Close the door for me, please, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, Emma is from Linden. So, my apologies, kids are going to be kids. This is not like a long time you holler up on them and you tell them, come out the room, and hey, people really used to holler up on me when we were little kids. Yeah. Just imagine Otto Martin, that big guy. He talks a lot, good things. Just imagine Otto getting chased out of the room when you're a little boy. I know I got a lot of chased out. Get out of here, get out of here. Anyways, Joe King is not joking. He says, you all have to start looking at James Bond and his associates. I'm already looking at him. That's according to Joe King. Right? And Joe King is not joking. Well, like I said, I haven't seen James Bond out of the country for a while, but if ever he leaves Guyana and he comes to the US, I'll be more than happy to have coffee with him and sit down and try to find out really what's going on, right? That's if he leaves Guyana. If I haven't seen him out of Guyana in a while, so I don't know. All right, sorry for that. My silly facial expression. Right. All right, good. So we've got to be careful how we spend our monies, right? And where we spend our money and with whom. And sometimes you may think that it is a brother or a sister who doesn't look like us from an ethnic standpoint that we may have to not spend our money with. Sometimes it doesn't work. You spend your money with those who respect your money, respect you, and it doesn't matter the ethnicity. They get some people who may look like you, and you might feel that you are spending your money with that person who look like you. But that person who look like you could be more dangerous than the other person who doesn't look like you from an ethnic standpoint. So there are some people that you got to really look at. You got to look at who they associate with. And you've got to think for a moment and say, hey, I should go somewhere else. I should spend my money somewhere else. I do that all the time. If I know that there are individuals who don't like me or don't like my politics or who don't like the people who have been cursing people, you know what I mean by that, they're not going to get $1 from me. And there are people who are in bed with the enemies in the name of, all sort of fancy things they try to camouflage the situation. Let me get my money. I don't care what they look like. And I don't want anybody to go, hey, the brother got this, brother got a spy with this. It's not working. If an Indian brother respects me and respects my politics and don't abuse me nor cuss out folks of my ethnicity and so forth, I'd respect that individual. It doesn't matter the individual's political affiliation. And this is my opinion. So a brother can be a PPP supporter, but as long as you sit down in your corner, you do your business, and you don't get involved in cussing out people and attempting to utter derogatory remarks against people or taking your money and paying to kill people and so forth, you're not going to get my business. You're just not going to get it. Look how Kashif and Shanghai business went dead, the football. They thought that they were powerful. Until one morning, that was it. If Kashif and Shanghai stuff is coming up again, and you guys feel that you just don't want to go, don't go. But I agree with Joe King. Got to keep an eye on those people who are affiliating and associating with the oppressors. And if they are business people, make a U-turn. Go somewhere else. Go on the street corner and buy a beer from Betsy Freeze. Buy a beer from Rox McKenzie. Buy a beer from Desiree Felix. Buy a beer. Go over by Karen Welcome and buy a bowl of sauce. Go by Karen Welcome, buy your sauce. Go by Francine Cruz. God heaven knows where Francine selling mitai and fudge and them kind of things. Go somewhere else, if you know what I mean, right? All right, almost an hour and 33 minutes I've been on. I've got to go, though. Is there anything else that I haven't mentioned to you guys that maybe I should have? All right, before we go, this guy, said to have been affiliated with the PPP, said to have been. He was nabbed. He was described as a drug lord once upon a time in Guyana. The U.S. attempted to extradite him a few years ago. There's a whole host of jiggery-pokery stuff that went on in the trial. I believe it was acting Chief Justice Ian Chang heard the matter. And of course, I was in the court. I went to the proceedings a couple of times, and he won his case from being extradited. And so one of the reasons why the U.S. is reluctant to send for these guys, because they still have a lot of them in Guyana who are on the extradition list, because once you unseal an indictment, then that is when the statute of limitations starts to run. And so I'm not sure, but I think the U.S. position is that they just don't trust the justice system in Guyana. They just don't trust individuals who are there right now. You have the Home Affairs Minister Ben, and then you have the Attorney General Anil. I'm not sure that they trust those individuals, because a lot of those folks on the extradition list are very close to the PPP. They give the PPP campaign money, and the PPP gives them a lot of contracts too. Some disguise themselves as legitimate businessmen, and now some of them are probably getting involved in politics too. You think the PPP is going to want to hand those individuals over? You think so? I doubt that. Unless maybe one day you see a nice big plane from the US just touch down at JFK and rung these guys up, rung them up. But getting back to this guy now, Barry Datadin, who was nabbed, as we're told that he left Guyana on his way to the US and was nabbed, knowing very well that he's wanted, but he left Guyana. And so he is about to negotiate a plea negotiation. He may end up getting maybe 10 years, maybe 8 years for his cooperation. But glad to read, though, that he is cooperating. And you know, once you cooperate, what that means. Let us cooperate for Guyana. It means that you have to give real things, some things that people already know. But for him to conform and for him to give more evidence is sufficient. And I'm sure with the evidence he might be giving, I don't know, I'm just sure, kind of, that, he probably wouldn't get more than 10 years. And he's out maybe within 3 to 4 years. He's out in the streets. He's a US citizen. And he wouldn't be going back to Guyana. His name is Dataram, but maybe he'll change his last name. Barry Singh. Ethnicity black. Barry Singh. All right, do what you do, Barry. Speak the truth. Spill your guts and let the people know what they need to know. And that's all I wish to say on that matter. But for now, I'll see you guys later on this evening. Thank you all for tuning in on 107.1 FM. God bless you all. And have a great rest of the day. Morning to the soup drinkers out in New Amsterdam. A couple of them there, right? The soup drinkers. See you guys later this evening. Bye-bye.
Source.
Okay, well,
Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you. Or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujiro?
So my relation.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah.